disemboweled too.
What a goal!
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Hey, what is up, everybody? We're the Uncle Puckers. I'm Chris with Tim, Bobby, and we think Tony sounds like Tony, smells like Tony, but we can't see Tony. So is that you, Tone?
Yes, it is. What's up, guys?
How you doing, dude?
Good.
So, Bob, dealing with a lot of vomit lately, huh?
That's the thing, yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
I mean, listen, I just feel horrible for my boy, man. It's been since Friday. Picked him up at 1 o'clock. He just can't hold anything down right now. So he's starting to get a little discouraged, wants to eat. It's getting better. Hasn't had any issues for the last few hours, and we just gave him some food. So now there's real test is we'll see, how he is in the next couple hours.
I mean, I heard that stomach thing that's been going around is absolutely brutal. So
yeah, norovirus,
that's what he has. What's it?
Norovirus?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Is it the same thing like that the couple of Devils had, and I assume?
I think so. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going around right now, but this
bird
seems to
flu.
be the one that, get the bird flu.
That is going. Yeah,
I went and bought a 60-pack of eggs from Walmart a week ago because I saw this coming.
A 60-pack.
A 60-pack, like a.
What did that cost you? 60. Well, so 60-pack of eggs. So not 60 dozen eggs.
60 eggs.
60 eggs.
20 bucks.
That's it?
Yeah. Now
That's
it's probably
bad.
45, but
that's not bad.
They're killing all the birds.
It's been really weird here because I buy a lot of eggs, and lately, like, the eggs will be ridiculous, like an 18-pack for like $10 or whatever, and then like Eggland's Best right next to them is like $6. I don't know why they're still so much cheaper than like our shitty local store brands, but I'll just take that.
You know what's odd over here is because in Jersey, right, all the eggs are kept in refrigerators, right, in the stores and everything. Here, there's like every store they put them on regular shelves, like in the aisles. They're not refrigerated and nothing's wrong with them. You use them all the
brown?
time.
Well, I mean, when they
They're
come
brown
out of
and
you,
white.
come out of a chicken's butt, they don't go in a refrigerator. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
makes sense.
But I never knew though. I never thought about it. And then when I moved here, I was like, it's just normal here.
Did you guys ever have it's gonna be probably tough to answer, but like anything like you were a kid that you thought was kind of normal in your life, and then when you kind of grew up and either went to college or moved out on your own and lived with other people, and you realized, wow, that was really stupid the way my mom used to do that or whatever. My mother, for some reason, God rest her soul, used to put the maple syrup in the refrigerator. Well, I always thought that that's where it was supposed to go, and never thinking that, you put that over pancakes and your fucking pancakes are ice cold now because you just put ice cold maple syrup on it. But my mom used to freaking do that all the time. And I remember like the first time I was like living out on my own with you guys, with you, Bobby, and stuff, and there was syrup in the cabinet. And I remember saying, like, isn't that supposed to go in the refrigerator? Because you don't know shit when you move out. You think you do, but you don't. And so my mother used to put syrup in the fucking refrigerator. How stupid is that?
It's done.
So did mine, actually. I remember.
Really?
Yeah,
she
did.
Bob?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, Tony. Go ahead. Tell your mother's syrup story.
No, same as you. She kept it in the refrigerator, and I remember when I got older and I moved out, I remember like thinking, why am I pour? Like, you pour it, it's like almost like a thicker when it comes out of the refrigerator, and it kind of colds up breakfast or whatever you want to call it.
I'm with you. All right, Bobby, what's your story?
It's in the fridge right now, and I don't know why. I brought it up before. I think maybe because it's organic, or I don't think that's a reason why. I'm not really sure, but I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna die on that hill. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I just
thinking about it.
Once I found out that it doesn't need to be in there, I stopped putting it in there.
I'm with you.
I tend to put like all of my sauce type of stuff in the fridge. Like I just put them, even maple syrup. Now that I think about it, but I'll just throw it in the microwave for like 30 seconds and warm it up.
Well, I guess you could do that. There is that whole microwave option. There is a couple of things that I do want to start with. And the first thing, hockey-wise, if you guys are cool with it, I would like to discuss this big trade that happened over the weekend. This is a big deal, and I'm curious what you guys all think about it. So it was a 3-team trade. I don't have the parameters around like right here, but the gist of it is Mikko
Main
Rantanen
guys.
from Colorado. What?
Just the main guys. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
most important.
Mikko Rantanen goes from Colorado to Carolina. Taylor Hall goes from Chicago to Carolina. Marty Necas and Jack Drury go from Carolina to Colorado, and there's some money being held and blah, blah, blah. So Mikko Rantanen is a UFA after this year. And Marty Necas has this year and next year left on their contracts. This deal is confusing to me as far as like when I put my general manager hat on and we're playing that little game, this deal is confusing to me. As far as it being a straight up hockey trade, I think that Carolina got considerably better. I guess we'll know down the road, but you have a dude who's, I mean, I would say that Mikko Rantanen is one of the top 10 players in the world, and now Carolina has him. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Tone, I'll start with you. What do you think about this trade?
I think it's a good trade for Carolina. I think it was a 3rd round, right? It's pretty much the main thing that got moved for. I mean, we talked
Marty
about it.
Necas and Jack Drury.
Yeah, but I think how do you not take Taylor Hall? That's with those 2 guys. I think this is the kind of moves I think that can help you. It just kind of shows that Carolina's really trying to make a push. I don't think it's a bad move, personally.
Well, I mean, I think it's a great move if they win the cup this year, and that's about it. I mean, other than that, it's not. If they don't win the Stanley Cup, it's not a great move. If they don't sign Mikko Rantanen, and I can't for the life of me see why Rantanen would sign. He's about to be a UFA. He's about to get seriously paid. Why would he sign with Carolina before testing the market at least? So I'm kind of just confused by the whole thing. Like I don't know. I'm just maybe not used to Carolina making moves like this. So I don't know. Tim, what do you think?
I think kind of just a bunch of circumstances sort of worked out for both teams circumstantially to make this work. The word on the street was that Rantanen was really pushing for 14 million plus contract wise and wasn't really budging off of that. I think now some things are coming out where that may not necessarily be true.
Right.
And if you look at on the Carolina side, Necas has been in trade rumors all last year. Like we were talking about, like taking a run at him as well. He only signed a small kind of couple year prove it type of deal. I think he had some disagreements with how he fit in within Brendan Moore's system. And actually Jack Drury and Necas both took Carolina to arbitration, player elected arbitration to kind of get their contract settled out. So that always kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste, I think, in a team in management's mouth. And with Rantanen looking for what he was looking for, Colorado realizing that we don't want to go over Nate's cap hit and they have a Makar extension on the horizon. They already have those 2 guys, and getting Necas back, who is a good complementary piece for Colorado. I realize they're not winning this trade, but kind of getting and recouping what they could for Rantanen without losing him in free agency. And it's Carolina putting their nuts on the table and saying, this is our year. We're finally going kind of all in. Like they have very good players. Aho's good. Svechnikov is good, but they don't have like a 100-point top 10 guy and never really have. And now they do. And this guy, like Rantanen, he's a fucking horse, man. Like he's big, he's good, he's got great hands. So Carolina got better. But if they can't sign him in the offseason or don't sign him in the offseason, it was a pretty big swing.
And if they don't win the cup, I mean, that's what, if they win the cup, it doesn't matter. If they are Stanley Cup champions, and it doesn't matter if Mikko Rantanen leaves and goes to San Jose next year, it doesn't matter. They got what they want. But I can't wrap my head around where this makes sense for the Avalanche. You I don't care. I would take Mikko Rantanen for what's left of this year over Marty Necas for this year and next any day of the week. Like, to me, that just didn't make any sense. The guy's only played for the Avs. He only knows playing with McKinnon and Makar and all those guys. They won a cup together. You're right. I heard the same thing, that he was looking for over 14 million. And at first, Colorado was saying that, well, we're not going to pay anybody more than we paid Nate. And that's another thing that I think we have to kind of get into with that. Like, it shouldn't be a number. It shouldn't be an AAV. It should be a percentage of the salary cap on account that it goes up all the way. Like, if you know, Nate McKinnon's getting 13% of the salary cap and he's making $10 million this year, but next year, I'm using arbitrary numbers, Mikko Rantanen is making 8% of that salary cap, but the cap went up and he's making 12 million. You know what I mean? Like, you're making more in the dollar amount, but it should be relative to your cap situation.
And
that's how I feel.
I think teams think like that, particularly from a positional basis. Like, we shouldn't allocate more than X% of our cap to goalies or to the decor, right. Depending on where it falls out. I just think with Makar, an extension for Makar coming up where he's
and Tim froze.
8 deal. I think he makes like 12.5 or something like that. Suddenly you have 30% locked up in 2 guys. You just can't build around that. Then adding another 15 million on top of that, they're like, we already have 2 generational superstars. Do we need a third? I don't know. I'm trying to think about how it works out, but also like Colorado is probably thinking like we can rent in for the rest of the year and let him go, and then we get nothing back, or we can get something back now. That
I get
fills
that
in for the next couple of years. So I don't know, but I think Colorado lost in the short term. Jack Jury's not something to sneeze at either.
He's a good power play, a good face-off guy. He's a good on the PK. He'll help them. It was kind of. I mean, we're going to talk about the Carolina aspect of this next, but Bob, what is your initial reaction on this?
Initial reaction was Carolina indeed got better. I think from their standpoint, what's important to note is that they're never going to sign a guy like that. So this is their one chance to have this guy affordable for the last half of the year and to make a run. I don't think that they realistically think they're going to be ponying out the dough that carries him on. So they don't make splashy moves like this often. So why not do it now? Get a top 10 player, as you say. Give themselves a chance. Then you supplement that with Taylor Hall, some more offensive for Carolina. I totally get it. I don't think they're going to get any worse if they don't win the cup and he moves on. I don't think it was tremendously worse. Colorado, I'm with you. I don't know really where they're going, but the money is probably the big part. Tim's probably right. It's probably, they looked at the forecast of what they can afford. At least they got another year out of a player or two.
Rantanen told a Finnish newspaper that he was willing to take considerable under market value to stay in Colorado. So I don't know who's telling the truth. Is it the Avs? Is it Rantanen? Is it somewhere in between? But yes, to go back to what all of you guys have said, and I completely agree, the Carolina Hurricanes in one trade became the team to beat in the East. I mean, this works out. I mean, Mikko Rantanen never played under Rod Brindamore's system. It's a completely different system than what they do in Colorado. He's good friends with Aho. Great players like that are going to make it work. I get that. But there's always
way before the trade deadline too, right? They're already starting to make moves.
I think that's a smart move to do it now because the trade deadline, you only really get a few games after it to really acclimate. Like we saw that with Timo where he kind of didn't totally fit in. But I don't know. I mean, look, Colorado's regularly thought of as one of the more intelligent front offices, but they also give Miles Wood a 6-year deal. So how intelligent actually is that front office?
And I mean, for me personally, I think that Carolina, every year we say they should be winning the cup, and every year we have them winning it in the East. They're coming out of the East, the best team, this and that. And every year their goaltenders fail them. And this is still a problem that they have not addressed. I don't think they're going to address it again. They're going to roll with who they have. And I think that can end up being their Achilles heel once again in the playoffs. Because, Tim, you've been saying it. I agree with you 100%. I think Tony agrees. Bobby has delusions of grandeur that the Devils are winning the Metro. But we are on a collision course with the Hurricanes for round one. I mean, it is how it's going to work.
We're playing them in round one. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
And
unless we fall
we're
off a cliff where they do.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen for either team. I really don't. I think that this is going to be 2-3. However it pans out with home ice, I don't know, but it's going to be 2-3. I mean, this is a legitimate chance that the Devils and everything that we've talked about this year and what we're going to talk about moving forward and all the moves that are going to get made or not made, this can all just come to a fucking big, giant, flat halt in the second week of April if we go up against these guys and they just rout us, because right now on paper they're much better. So my question to you guys,
I don't know if I totally agree with that.
Okay, on paper you don't agree with that? I'm not saying that it is in practice, because we haven't seen what they look like yet with Taylor Hall and Mikko Rantanen in the lineup and stuff like that. I'm just saying, you don't think so?
I don't know if it's as big. I think forwards, they probably have a bit of an advantage, but like we have a pretty good forward group. Like, our depth is just starting to kind of emerge from whatever the fuck was going on with them earlier in the year. I think the D-cores are pretty comparable. I think ours is a little better, and we have a distinct advantage in goaltending.
I like your optimism.
I mean, we're not winning the Metro. Sorry, Bobby.
First of all, I haven't been on any shows to redefend my stance on that. First, you were laughing at me for the President's Trophy, and now just winning the Metro. But yeah, obviously things have changed. It's not looking like we're going that route anymore. But I'm going to side with you, Tim, even though you're mean to me, and say, like, I don't know how I would be. I would look at this like, wow, we're so separated on paper now. We've showed that we can play them. We're right with them in the standings. Yeah, they just brought in kind of a stud. But stud doesn't mean anything until you see how they all play. And not that he's not going to play well. He's a great player. He's not the great player he was 2 years ago. Probably not be that again. But I don't think we're that far apart from them. But all that aside, I wouldn't want to play Carolina anyway. I didn't want to play them when they lost all their players and we thought they were shit. I don't want to play them now. I don't want to be anywhere near them in the playoffs. I hate them in the playoffs.
Tony,
I think one thing you see with this move though is that the difference between us and them right now is I feel like Carolina is willing to. I mean, they're already making these moves, and like I said earlier, these are the moves that teams make before they try to really make a run in the playoffs. And I'm not convinced yet that we're going to make those moves just because from last year. We didn't make the moves when we should have. We kind of tried. We held on to things last year and tried to see what happened.
There's a big difference between this Devil team and last year's Devil team.
Yeah, but there's still some things the same. Like what when our goalie went down a couple weeks ago, Markstrom. Like, I don't know. Again, as I always say, I'm always beating the drum, and I probably saw it's always the same thing I have about it. But again, I was disappointed in that game because I felt like we should have been slaughtering their dudes after that when they hurt your goalie. Other teams, if you hurt a goalie, there's a mark. I mean, there's certain things we need to do, and I think we need to address it now instead of waiting till right before the trade deadline where we're going to get raped for everything. And that's one thing Carolina did. Like we said, they did it. What is it, 6 weeks till the trade deadline, Tim?
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks.
I mean, they're getting aggressive already. And that move they made is a pretty aggressive move.
Oh, it's a very big trade. It's a big hockey trade. But they're not, I don't think they're going to do anything else. I really don't.
Carolina?
Tim, what the fuck just happened here?
I think Tim froze and he's going out and jumping.
Okay. All right, yeah, Tim, I think you're back.
I think my gerbil that runs my internet is really cold. So
get him a blanket.
Take it out of the tube.
Please, that gerbil needs to go to work. I'm not getting him a blanket.
Take him out of your ass and put him to work.
Put the ladder down.
2 gerbils. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
So, Tim, did you hear it?
Sorry, I kind of missed a little bit of that. It was kind of like,
well, Tony thinks that essentially, again, that the Devils aren't that we should have stood up for Markstrom a lot more after he got hurt, that somebody should have gotten an ass whooping for that. I mean, I don't necessarily know how I feel in the middle of a 1-1 game. Your goalie goes down. He got injured. It wasn't like it was Rajol's intention to hurt him. He was, kind of, when you see like Dylan had a little something to do with him going down as well. I get your point though, Tony. I completely agree. I mean, you're banging the drum that this team needs to be tougher. I'm not there yet as far as I'm happy with how they respond to shit for the most part.
Do you think they're tough enough to go through the playoffs, though? You think that they can actually physically, because this is what I do not think at all. I don't think we can physically. We're talking about Carolina first round, right? Well, I think maybe on paper, I wouldn't say their lineup is like better, but I think that is one area that concerns me highly with our team.
I think that we have guys that come playoff time will tick it up a notch. I think that Timo Meyer will become a fucking beast once the first playoff game comes. I think Cotter will become a beast. I think Palat can bring something extra with all his playoff experience. I will agree with what you're saying right now with the caveat that I do think that come playoff time, this team will be a lot tougher than they are. You can't play that way for 82 games. Nobody does. The Panthers don't, the Knights don't, nobody does, but they turn it on when the big games are either during the regular season or come playoff time. And we've seen this in the regular season when the Devils have had some big games. Not often in their big games throughout this course of 50 games already this year have they shit the bed. Have they just not shown up? They seem to turn it up physically, and they seem to play a much better, tighter defensive game. And, I think that is an element of what our playoff is going to look like. Like, go back to the 2 games against the Panthers when we went and played them back-to-back in Florida. That was a physical team that basically beat Florida at its own game. And I think we can play that way. I don't know if I would be going out like I would if I'm going to go out and get a forward to play with Jack. Yes, I do want him to be bigger. I do want him to be a little bit more physical, but I'm not just looking at that. I mean, I'm curious also about Mikko Rantanen. Like, he's only played with McKinnon. Like, how is he going to be the same guy in Carolina? I don't know. I mean, Tim, what do you think?
Funny you ask, Chris.
Okay.
Because I have the numbers for you, and this is the coping mechanism that I look at.
Are we sharing them with the audience or no?
It's on my phone. No,
okay.
I don't have them, but so looking at Natural Stat Trick, which is a fun website that I enjoy going to because I'm a fucking dork. You can build out like how players play with each other and what their kind of numbers look like with and without those guys. So I picked Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan McKinnon, how they look with all 3 of them, with 2 of them, with each other, with and without. So all 3 of them together, their expected goals percentage is 62%. That's really good. Anything over 60% is like really, really good. Cale Makar and Mikko Rantanen without Nathan McKinnon, their expected goals is 32%. So it drops off a cliff without McKinnon.
Half. Now, who's that without McKinnon?
That's without McKinnon. That's Makar and Rantanen without McKinnon.
I just like to say that I could score with McKinnon.
Yeah, I think you park me in front. Makar, McKinnon without Rantanen, 61%. So with and without Rantanen, it's about the same. Without McKinnon, it drops off a cliff. Mikko Rantanen and McKinnon together without Makar, it's at 43%. And Mikko Rantanen without Makar and without McKinnon is at 38%. So
that's the number.
That is kind of his individual contributions. I get like there's a lot more that goes into, you can't look at stuff like this in isolation. He's an incredible player and is going to play well with Aho. Like, they're 2 Finns. They're going to speak Finnish together on the ice, but pass to me in front. But there is something to be said for all the Finnish listeners. You can translate
your
what
interpretation of their
score goal.
So look, there is some numerical evidence that as a standalone player, he's not as good as his 100-point player and could be construed as a McKinnon merchant. I don't think that's true. Put him with Aho. I think you'll get another good player. But to Tony's point about toughness, like, yeah, I would have loved to see McDermott just beat the shit out of Brazo. Just, you hurt our goalie, you get your ass kicked. Like that shit.
Yeah, that's the way it should go.
That's the way it should go. I just circumstantially, I don't know if it ever came up. And honestly, McDermott, I don't think was even got much of the ice time. And it was kind of a laugher of a game. Like maybe 10 minutes after he got hurt.
Once the power play started, yeah. And that's another thing. Like, we scored on the power play, like we made them pay for the goalie interference, and we scored on the power play and just didn't look back. And I think at that point, are you going to go and get revenge, or are you just going to whoop them 5-1, which is what we did?
Right.
And you know what I mean?
It's 5-1. When it's 4-1, that's when you start. That's when you go take a shot. That's when you go do it. And that's what you would have done 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And we're up by 4 goals. Fuck it. Let's send someone out and send a message.
I definitely wouldn't have minded seeing that. Of course, I fucking love a good hockey fight. Like, there's an awesome Reeves and
that was great. Olivier?
What's his name? Olivier on Columbus. That was a fucking two big boys going at each other. But yeah, I mean, just and where we are in the season, like, we couldn't afford, I think, at the time, and this may be why it didn't happen, to get an instigator, go on the penalty kill, and with our backup goalie in now, like, just a bunch of circumstances kind of all pointing to maybe wasn't the right time. But yeah, I would have loved to see him get his ass kicked. Like, you hurt our goalie, take notes, maybe it'll happen the next game. In terms of toughness going into the playoffs, fighting falls off a cliff in the playoffs. So it's a matter of ramping it up. And like all the guys I think that we were brought in specifically for that purpose. You look at Dylan, and actually, do you know who's been like one of my favorite little silent assassins is Siegenthaler, man. He's been in the middle of every single scrum that's come up, and he's kind of a big boy.
He has personality.
He's like 6'2", 6'3", 220. He's not a small boy. So so I like it. He's got that like B movie like ninja assassin goatee. Just cracks me up.
What do you think, Bobby, about the Devils' toughness? And in essence, and do you think that somebody should have taken Brajol to the woodshed?
First of all, I think they respond pretty much the way they should for most of the year. Like you said, we've talked about the goaltender interference call, and if you put it in a microscope, it's one thing. But when you look at the context of the game, you look at the context of the season at that point, we hadn't won shit for what seemed like 2-3 weeks. There's a ton of reasons why you don't go to blows for that. We all like it, protect the goaltender, of course. But, for the most part, I think that this team's doing what they have to do. And I do believe that not most of the guys, but a lot of the guys do have a different game in mind come playoff time. And so a lot of the guys you just mentioned, like Dylan, Nason, Timu, hell, even Jack changed his game, last year in the playoffs, the year before in the playoffs.
He went at it with Aho 2 years ago. That was awesome.
I'm actually very confident in the style of game they're going to play once they get in the playoffs. I mean, listen, when you're playing a series, it's a different game, right? There's a psychological game that goes with everything else too. I mean, look at just the way Timo was acting against the Rangers in that series. Yeah. Didn't get anything on the board, but his shenanigans were enough to literally throw them off. And especially we can get that plus goals. Yeah. And there's just hard-nosed guys here that I think won't take any of the crap in the playoffs, but they'll do it within the rules. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think that's the next step that this team needs to take.
Right. Yeah, and what Carolina does, and this is how they like beat the shit out of us out of their own building during the playoffs 2 years ago is they're really hard on the forecheck, and they just pounded our D. Like I remember, Jesper Fast like sent Ryan Graves to the Shadow Realm like in one game. He's like and Graves is like 1.5 feet taller than him and had like 60 pounds on him, and I was like
cried and cried.
That moment I was like, oh man, it's like we just can't. I was like, we just cannot keep up with these guys physically, and I don't know if you watched the Amazon series. There's a clip of Paul Maurice.
Amazon like giant women.
No. We're not talking about Lithuania anymore. Tony lives in Lithuania, everybody. No, it was the Amazon behind the scenes series that they did.
The center ice one.
Yeah. There's a clip of Paul Maurice behind the bench saying, "Stop trying to make plays and just pound their D. Pound their D." In a 7-game series, Their D are going to be exhausted. You could just go after their D, pound them on the forecheck, and with like a maniac like Cotter and Nason, I think we have guys that can do that. I think we might need one more piece though.
All right, commercial time. So if anybody's got to pee, you got a minute and a half to do it.
Don't hit.
Playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are, and you can get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting them on DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6 or a Timo Meyer shot prop. It usually hits. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app now to make your pick, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. In Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, please visit dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. All right, we're back.
Good Lord, you're fast.
That's what my wife says. Guys,
Minute and a half.
we lost our heart, we lost our soul, we lost our captain. This is extremely worrisome to me. I had said when Markstrom went down that it sucks, but I think we're going to be all right and we'll get through it. I understand this is only day to day, so I'm really hoping it is strictly just a couple of games. But if this is something long term, this team is in big, big trouble. What are your thoughts on the Nico Hischier injury and how it went down? Bobby, we'll start with you.
I'm honestly not too concerned about it right now.
Wow.
I'm taking the information I know. It's day to day. I don't know that it's any worse than that. If it becomes worse than that, it's a serious problem, obviously. But I don't know how far it's going to be. I think we can hang around a couple of games without him. If it's anything more than that, we're screwed. But honestly, unless you guys got more information than me, I don't know of it being any more serious than just a game or two.
I don't have any more information. Tony, what do you think?
No, I'm the same as Bobby because I'm hearing the same thing, that it's only going to be for a few games. Of course, if it's not, it is a big problem. But I've, even I was watching, what was it? Some kind of preview earlier, and it was the same thing. It's just day to day. So, hopefully that's it. I'm kind of on the same stance as Bobby.
Yeah. Timmy?
Yeah, day to day is day to day. We have these 2 Flyer games, then a long window until Buffalo.
3 days off,
3-4 games.
Yeah.
Flyers aren't a good team. But they play kind of tough. So does Nico miss these 2 games? We run out this patchwork lineup and kind of pray for the best. My bigger worry, maybe what's going on with Jack's hand.
When I saw
they were skating him today, I heard they didn't skate him this morning.
Yeah, the 2 of those things together. The 2 of those things together, you saw in overtime.
Yeah, when Luke took that face off.
I was laughing I was laughing my ass off when he stepped in the dot. I was like, buddy, that's just. He literally did the Ricky Bobby thing. He was like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just push the puck forward. That's all he did. He just threw it forward.
And if we lost in overtime, I would have been like, fuck, that was bad. But now in retrospect, we get to chuckle about it. But our center depth is pretty thin, and this just lays it bare. Hopefully, and an interesting, sorry to kind of ramble a little bit, but Alex Pietrangelo, whatever.
Pietrangelo.
You know who I'm talking about. Just announced that he's skipping 4 nations, and he was in Canada, but he also played in Vegas's game last night. So our players going to starting to drop out of this? And I'm looking at Jack. I'm like, buddy, if your hand isn't 100%, don't you dare go play in Four Nations.
I'm with you. I mean, no, he can't. I mean, it was the same thing last year, right? When he was injured and the All-Star game was coming, and we were all that talk like, oh, Jack's gonna go, and we were saying like, if this dude plays in the fucking All-Star game before he comes back for the Devils, like, there's an issue there. So, like, if your hand is that bad where you can't even take a face off, I don't know.
Yeah, but we're running up Mercer as our 2C, which honestly, I don't know if I'm talking myself into it, but I may like to see him get a little bit of run at center. I think his biggest issue is along the boards where he just gets pounded into oblivion and just loses every board battle that he has. So I don't know.
I wanted him to get that run at center too, back when it was forecasted that he was our 3C a couple of years ago. Like, I don't know if I want him as my 2C.
Well, what are the lines? Do we know?
We can look.
Stein put out our lineup card yet?
Another interesting. I should go over all the websites that I use so you guys could.
I did see.
You ever go to Daily Face Off?
Yeah, I did see something about Ryan O'Reilly. There was a little. I don't know what it was on, but I was reading that the Devils are very interested, but it just the ask of what Barry Trotz is going to ask for him just might be way too much. Like, Barry Trotz thinks every player deserves, 4 first-round picks and a star player. So I don't know if you can do business with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do business with him. I love the idea of Ryan O'Reilly being on this team. If he would want to, and like they're saying it would be Shimon Nemec. Like, there's no way that you're going to give Nemec for Ryan O'Reilly. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know what Fitzgerald's going to do, but I'm in a total agreement with Tony. Like, if there's a move to be made now, do it. Let's get it done before the Four Nations.
That's the thing. That whole break, that's a blessing right there. That's a ton of practice time. You get the team together. Jack's probably not going to be there, honestly. So yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to see what this team's going to do. And just listen, Carolina's got a track record of being a winning team, right? They haven't gone over the hump yet, right? Won the cup, but to see them do this, with all the stuff that was said about them, where they lost everybody in the offseason and they're still good and right there, and to be putting the pedal down right now, I think the Devils have to be as aggressive.
Yeah, honestly, 2020 our 2026 first rounder. Give it for O'Reilly. Like, what's that pick going to be? Like 25 or higher. Yeah. Like, we're like I said this before. It's like we're in our win now window, and it just kind of opened up this year. And in this year in particular, we have that's for last show. We had health. And we had goaltending. Yeah, they may have changed a little bit.
Both seem to be on a rickety fence right now.
Wait a second. Wait, is this my fault? Did I do this? Shit.
It's possible.
Well, here's something that might get you excited, or at least it gets me excited when I think about it, right? We can agree that all of us can pretty much agree that we are on we are probably going to be facing the Canes in the first round, right? The Canes have made a trade unlike anything that we're used to the Carolina Hurricanes making, right? This is a big boy trade that Don Waddell, I don't think, would ever make. So the fact that they have gotten considerably better, the fact that we are going to probably play them in the first round, and the fact that Rod Brindamore, since he has been the head coach, has never not made it to a second round. So this guy has won every first round series since he's been coach, which is 6-7 years now. So every year they've made the playoffs, they've at least advanced past round 1. How great would it be if this team that just pulled off a trade unlike that they've ever seen down there, and they go up against these young bunch of jerk-offs from New Jersey, and we do something that nobody has ever done since Ron Brindamore's been coach, and bounce those fuckers in the first round? That would make me feel so freaking happy.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I mean, I want nothing better than to finally beat these guys in the playoffs. Like I said, my hatred goes all the way back to 06. I've been carrying that a long time.
Yeah,
You can
it's a
tell me to let it
rivalry.
go, and I can't let it go because then they just destroyed us again 2 years ago when I was feeling all good about the team. So
We're done with them, right? This year, we played all four.
Yeah,
I think we have one. We're done completely. Not one more.
I think we're done
think we
completely
split.
with Florida, Tampa, Toronto,
Washington.
Washington, and Carolina. The basically there are 6 good teams in the East. It's those 5 and us, and we're done with those 5. So,
That's huge.
which is huge, but it's going to be weird because we're not going to see them. Look, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Hopefully, we wind up in the playoffs and we don't fall off a cliff. I don't think we are. The team that might actually fall off a cliff is the Capitals. They've been playing like absolute shit and somehow winning. Like that's got to come home to roost. And they just signed Logan Thompson today too to a pretty big extension.
Big extension.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Washington's a very good team. I think there's a lot of good teams in the East, but the Devils definitely have to do a move or two. They have to bring in a guy or two, I think, to get this team really ready for the playoffs. Because, if Markstrom comes back healthy, if Nico's not anything serious or long term, and you can just get those guys in, and Jack's little hand gets better, I think we're in good shape. Tonight, though, let's talk a little bit about tonight's game. I mean, Philly made us look fucking stupid last week, guys. They made us look stupid in our own barn. What did we have? 3 shots on goal the whole game. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it was not a lot. I mean, it was that just a fluke? Was that just Devils not on their game? Was that just our styles don't mesh well and we don't play well against them? Or what do you guys think?
I don't really know, man. We're still coming off it. I knew Philly was going to play us hard. I still don't like this 2 coming up with them. I'm thinking we might even split it. Just a matchup type of thing. They were pumped up. Maybe we'll take this one from them. It's in Philly tonight, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take this one from them tonight. But it's going to be tough. Like you said, no Heischer. Then again, that they won't have anybody to run at. If they wanted to run at Heischer, it's not there.
Tell them, what do you expect from tonight?
It's going to be tough. I think when you play Philly, Torres is going to have them ready. I mean, I think I agree with the split. I can picture us doing 1-1. I think we're definitely a better team, but just when you play the Flyers, anything in our divisions, never a gimme.
I think it was a fluke last week, and I'm going to be serious about that. The way we played, I attribute that loss a lot more to the way the Devils played than the way the Flyers played. Jesus Christ, the way the Flyers played. I think we just played a really flat game, especially after the first period where we just kind of, I think gave up and had no heart in that one. I think they're feeling good. I mean, giving up two goal leads against the Canadians isn't great, but it's a much better feeling when you net the overtime winner as opposed to losing your second point after you give up those 2 goals.
That's still a great psychological win too, because the Habs were beating like everybody.
Cole Caulfield
we stopped another streak.
That Cole Caulfield goal was fucking filthy, man. What a beautiful freaking goal, man. I mean, they're fun to watch that team. They really are. I kind of thought they made the playoffs.
It was like the Devils are the first team in the NHL history to win. What was it? 9 games in a row at Montreal.
In Montreal,
I saw that. Yeah,
that's
those are fluky, right?
But
it's over like so many seasons, and
I know, but NHL history, like that's wild.
History.
I mean, 9 games in Montreal. Like might as well throw in like on a Tuesday. Whatever. But it is a pretty wild stat. It's cool. But yeah, so our lines, it looks like they're doing Palat, Hughes, Bratt, Timo, Mercer, Nason. This is on Daily Faceoff. Cotter, Dallin.
It was Bratt, Hughes,
Palat. So putting that line back together.
Okay, so that line's back together. Great.
Tony, there he is.
Hey, what the hell happened?
See me? I don't know. It just happens.
All right, now turn it
like,
off.
what?
Finally warmed up.
The old kicker.
Timo, Mercer, Nason. Kind of interested to see how that.
I'm interested in that line now, actually.
Cotter, Dowling, Hallinan, Tatar, Lazar, Bastion.
I like it.
So I don't mind it. The fourth line has been light years better the past couple of games.
Yeah.
The last time we played Philly, I kind of agree with you, Chris. I think it was just an anomaly, like Philly did a really good job keeping us to the outside. They blocked a ton of shots. What was it, 33? I think they
Yeah,
blocked.
it was a lot.
And they just kind of pushed us to the exterior, and it was a 1 p.m. Saturday game. It was the most afternoon effort of afternoon efforts on our part. I think you just flush it, and I think you got to respond today. I hope they come out flying. We're up 2-3-0 after the first. I would love to see that for once, but I want kind of a laugher of a game here. And I think with Nico out and some of the guys getting an opportunity like Hallinan, moving Mercer to center, that fourth line, the way it's playing, we'll see a lot more effort and a lot more kind of grindy type of goals.
And hasn't Philadelphia fans had enough to fucking cheer for after yesterday? Like, fuck you guys. I mean, seriously.
I saw the referee got the game ball. I mean,
you're talking about the Chiefs.
I mean, how do you not hate that? Fuck yeah. I always say this. I mean, but man, Bobby, your house must be happy over there flying.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Yeah,
but I'm honestly, I was so disappointed watching the end of that Buffalo KC game. I really wanted Buffalo to pull it out.
That spot. I mean, what the? There's so many questions.
Everybody wanted Buffalo.
So many questions. That dude, it's a bad day for white tight ends, or a bad couple of weeks for white tight ends.
Man. It's just, Chris was saying, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl this year.
And it's funny you say that, dude, because I've said for years that the championship games are always better than the Super Bowl. Every now and then you'll get a really good Super Bowl, but I'm always a big fan of the championship games.
I have zero desire to see those two teams play another game. I really don't against each other.
I have to root for the Eagles, though, Chris. I hate to say it, man. I have to.
I'm with you.
I can't stand them. I have to go for the Eagles.
I think it's a real Sophie's choice we got going on here, but
it really is. Can we pull the plug on both of them?
Yeah,
doesn't work like
that. Can we root for something else that's not like Legos on the field and bare feet or something?
But we all know that the Chiefs are winning this.
They're
winning.
Like,
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that the Chiefs are going to get the third in a row. And at this point, maybe even next year. Like, I think all the other 31 teams might as well not even fucking show up next year. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Between what the Chiefs are doing,
Kelsey, does this guy? How does he not drive you nuts? Like he had 2 catches yesterday. I get it. Everyone loves him, but
he doesn't bother me.
Oh, can't stand him. You guys can't stand the whole team.
I mean, there's like guys that are like, I don't know, Kelsey. I don't like that Jason Kelsey's everywhere. I mean, he's fucking everywhere. Travis isn't so
like
bad.
David Grohl.
Like, to me, like Pat McAfee annoys the shit out of me. Like, he's the one that I just, like, he's just a douche. I have a hard time getting behind him. But yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl is what it is. But the point is that the Philadelphia fans are probably super hungover, still celebrating. Maybe the team was too. Maybe they're all partying with the Eagle fans last year at night and playing Eagle players, and they're going to come in and, play a little bit like we played last Saturday.
Chris, think this is a question for you, though, about that, though. Do you think it's
about the football game?
On the football game, yeah. Do you guys think that people like the watching? Do you think there's going to be shitloads of viewers, or do you think it's going to be low ass ratings? Because I think
it's a Super Bowl, dude. It's going to be a fucking
people
to
watch.
This has to be one of the worst Super Bowls I could think of. Like,
doesn't matter. The average football fan like us, me and you, Tony, right? That love football, we watch every week. We're going to watch because we're football fans. The people that are, you're going to have a whole contingency of Taylor Swift fans that are going to watch just for the simple fact they're Taylor Swift fans. To me, it doesn't matter who's in the game. It's a Super Bowl. You're going to get 7 billion people watching. It's going to be
non-football fans have been throwing Super Bowl parties forever.
Sure,
it's a thing.
It'll be. So that'd be this guy, but that's it's kind of what I do or did for a living for 20 years. Was
Super Bowl parties,
sports media and sports marketing. I'd negotiate all the advertising time, all the commercials for advertisers in the game, but it'll probably be around 110 million US viewers. That's the TV and streaming. But I'm with Bobby. I like the champ game so much better. It's just the beginning of the Super Bowl games are kind of boring. Kendrick Lamar's the halftime, which it's kind of funny. The ratings for the halftime show have actually been the highest, 30-second increments that you can get kind of real time ratings now. In the past 3 or 4 Super Bowls, pretty funny. But I don't know. I would love to say I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to watch that game. I'm such a dork.
We
the
used to-
halftime show, they're awful. They're
Yeah.
absolutely.
We used to
No
rage
rock,
so
it's like
hard at these
rapper.
football these Super Bowl parties that like we were in advertising, at least I was in advertising. So we would discuss the ads and stuff the next day. Like I would, instead of like peeing during commercial break, I would pee during the games and just watch all the commercials when I didn't like the
But
game.
no, that's what I did too. A couple of years ago we did a really cool. Do you remember the Tide stick commercial where the guy, like, it was like a commercial and then it came into like the live actual broadcast where he still had the stain on his shirt?
Yeah.
I don't
So
remember that one.
I put that deal together.
No shit.
Stain.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the one that stained his shirt.
Stick bastard.
Stain.
It's loads of fun.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
No, but like
So
I have a good friend that's doing this Kick of Destiny deal with FanDuel and the Manning brothers. We've seen that shit, and Rob Gronkowski did it. So I don't know, that's fun to talk about, and you get a free trip to the Super Bowl. So
Well, that's something I would definitely love to do. I do have a bucket list, and the Super Bowl is one. WrestleMania is one. Watching the Devils play in every arena in the NHL is one.
We're gonna work on that in our retirement years.
That's what I plan on doing in my retirement.
Oh,
yes, buying
speaking of that the Bell Center, man, like that place seemed electric during that game. Holy
dude, those
shit.
fans are ridiculous, man. They are just such huge hockey fans. And now that they actually have a product on the ice that's worth watching, they show up.
Yeah.
I mean, we went there when Marty was still playing back in the day. We lost that game, but man, those fans were. I mean, that was the Molson Center. I think it's a different arena. Is it, or is it just a different name? I don't know.
It might just be I don't know.
But it was a cool ass place. Just the people were awesome. They were fucking electric. The building was packed. They love Marty because he's from there. So as much as they root for the Canadians, they root for Marty. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
They're going to be a good team in probably 2 to 3 years. I mean,
You think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
No, I don't think so. I think the Rangers get it together and make it. And I think.
Did you see what happened to them last night in yesterday's game?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch
that? Did I send you the picture?
Yeah.
The picture.
Yeah, Tone, did you see that?
No, I did not.
They played the Avs.
I don't have Tone somewhere.
Yeah, we got to get Tony into the other group chat. Whatchamacallit? They played the Tony, you shaved your mustache. Just realized that. Oh,
yeah.
You look nice. So Avs got up quick.
Go back now.
Avs got up quick 2-0 in the first, and then the Rangers came roaring back, tied it up 2-2 after one, and then Colorado scored 2 more, so they're up 4-2. I think the Rangers got their third in the second period, and then like middle of the third, late in the third, they tied it up. It's 4-4. Looks like we're going to overtime, and 14.7 seconds left. They give up an odd man rush, and Makar feeds Lankinen, and he scores on Shesterkin for the win. And it was
I saw the score.
awesome.
I didn't see the highlights though.
Not even a point for all your effort. You got Ungat.
Nada.
It was beautiful. So I don't know. I don't know if the Rangers are going to do it. And if I'm Chris Drury, I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I sell? Do I stand pat? Do I buy? Where you don't know where the hell you're going, I don't envy that man and any of those teams that are on the bubble, because you really, at least the Rangers, you have the team, right? Like you have the team. If you're gonna go all in, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, like as opposed to I don't know, like Columbus. Like, are you gonna go make a big move if you're Columbus when it might not be real? You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. I think for the Rangers, like. They have to go buy something. Like they can't waste any more of these guys' years. Like they can't just, unless they just say fuck it and sell Panera and sell Kreider, like, and Porsche Sturkins be like, what the hell, man? I just signed this deal. Like that's why I don't think they could do it. Plus they're the Rangers. If Dolan catches wind of Drury trying to sell pieces off to rebuild, he's gonna lose his mind. But my favorite part of that last goal that the Avs scored was the defenseman on the 2-on-1 was Will Borgen. who just
Just signed
had
an
an awful,
extension.
awful play on it, who just signed a $20 million extension.
Mm.
So they have a $5 million third pair D that played 5 games for them. I don't understand that move at all.
I thought it was
know,
kind of
man.
look
ahead,
at
Tom.
Kako. He's over there in Seattle now, and he actually left the Rangers. And I don't know how he did this week, but the first week I think he had like six or 7 points.
He's playing well.
He's thriving.
Yeah,
He's thriving. That was
playing
good. That
well.
was a good move. I would have loved for the Devils to pick up Kako. That would have been just.
I thought if you get him for, I kind of thought that if you got him for like nothing, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy's got skill. I mean, it's just the best is when they play that video of all the Ranger fans chanting at the draft. So I mean
That'll never get old.
Yeah,
I love it.
Never get old.
But it hurts Rangers fans' feelings when you make fun of them. All right.
Oh.
They're a very sensitive crowd. I'm just saying. So, all right, guys, before we wrap it up, Bobby, you have a game?
We have a quick game. We're going to do this game twice. We're going to do it now where you just have to kind of react to it. And then we'll do it again.
That's my
perfect.
surprise reaction.
And then we'll do it again before the actual playoffs start.
Okay.
So in this scenario, the Devils have won the Stanley Cup. For each round, give me your MVP of the round and then end with a Conn Smythe total. Chris, go first.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do I have to pick who
Do
we're
we have to
playing
pick
in
a
the first
different
round?
person?
Yes. Oh, it's got to be 4 different people, except for the Conn Smythe. That could be a repeat of one of your guys. 4 different people, each stars in a round as your MVP.
It doesn't matter who they're playing, right?
Doesn't matter who they're playing. We don't know that yet. I'm just putting it out there.
All right. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to say in round 1, Timo Meier will be our MVP.
Okay.
In round 2, Nico Hischier will be our MVP.
Feel free to elaborate if there's any particular reason why you think the player in the round match up. But otherwise, just
I do have kind of reasons in my head. I didn't know you want me to go that in depth.
You don't
Okay,
have
so I'm figuring round 1, you're going to set the tone, right? Everybody's got to kick it up a notch. I think only because we saw Timo do it 2 years ago. I'm going with Timo to be the guy to kind of set that tone and just lead the charge in round 1. They get through the round. And it's because Timo's kind of like, guys, follow me, play how I play. We're going to be all right. And the second round is going to come to, just that good two-way play from Nico, big face-off wins, things like that. He's just going to be involved in everything. Round 3 in the conference final, it's all on the back of Jacob Markstrom, and he comes through with flying colors. And the Devils make it to the Stanley Cup final.
Okay.
You got Markstrom playing great. You got Timo playing great. You got a lot of other guys on this team, Nico playing great. But in the finals, with all the lights and Connor McDavid sitting on the other side of the ice, little 86 is going to show up. And he's going to show the world that a little cut on his hand isn't going to stop him. And he is going to have the series. But in the end, the New Jersey Devils will lift the Stanley Cup, and Jacob Markstrom will lift the Conn Smythe Trophy because he will be amazing in every one of these 4 rounds.
Love it. Tony.
Well, it's going to be much shorter because I have to be up in 4 hours. I got Nico first round. I got Nico you second round, Nason third round. And Markstrom 4th, and Conn Smythe Markstrom.
All right.
I like.
Got to pick Nason. I got to pick one of those guys that you don't expect to, to make that impact. So it's been great all year.
What about you, Tim?
All right. So first, Markstrom's going to be outstanding all playoffs.
That's why he's getting the Conn Smythe, according to me.
I will circle back to him. First round against Carolina. Timo is going to be the answer. He's going to be the guy that pounds the shit out of their D. Second round, when we play, who are we going to play in the second round? Let's take a look.
Probably going to be Florida.
Do we have to stay in the Metro still, or does it matter?
I don't think so.
All right,
we have to stay in
round,
the Metro,
I'll
then
say
maybe Washington.
In the second round, we're going to play Washington, and that's when Dougie
Dougie.
is going
Dougie?
All right, Hamilton.
to score a goal in every game from the captain
Oh, wow.
leadership. He's going to get us through that third round against Toronto.
Wait,
And
we're still in
then
the second.
Stanley
Wait,
Cup
Wait,
final,
so
the
wait.
lights-
Dougie's your guy for the second round?
Dougie's my guy in the second round. He's
Who's your
going to
guy in
take
the
over
third?
when we play the Caps. Guy in the third, Nico. He's going to put us on his back. Leadership, Eastern Conference final against Toronto.
Oh, you're on
Then-
board with the Toronto, New Jersey Eastern Conference
Yeah,
final now.
I think
All
it's
right.
going to happen. And then when the lights are brightest, Jack, he's going to go on a tear. He's going to put Connor McDavid in his back pocket, just like you said. But the undercurrent to that whole thing, Markstrom's going to be standing on his head, and he's our Conn Smythe.
Oh, we all got Marky for the con. And Bobby.
It's funny. So I honestly am going to go with the same ones I thought of the minute I thought to do this a couple weeks ago. I'm thinking first round, starting off, setting the tone. That's Nico Hischier. That's our captain, right? Second round is a real tough one to get through. You get through that, you start getting some momentum. I think that's where Markstrom really steals that round for us, gets us going. Jack, with all the opportunity to get us to the Stanley Cup, lights it up in the third round. And in the finals, when things get pretty tough and you're looking for goals from contributions from all over the place, Nason is our MVP of the final round. And I also have Markstrom as our Conn Smythe winner.
Look at that. We
That
did
is
not
weird.
discuss this at all. That's awesome.
It's hard
I
to
like
envision it happening a different way without. I mean, we need Markstrom to be
Yeah.
Markstrom.
The way he's been all year. And that's why I think that this little 6 to 8 week break or however long it's going to be is a blessing in disguise. Because I think we're
Definitely.
going to be fine up until the 2 week break. And then you have that break. And hopefully he comes back right after, maybe a game or two after. And I think he's going to be refreshed. He's going to feel good. He's going to have a nice little break in the middle of the year. And he's going to be ready for the home stretch. So anything else you boys want to add for tonight before we wrap it up?
Get a W.
Yeah.
All right, quick predictions. Tone, tonight, Devils in Philly.
Devils 5-3.
Tim,
4-2 Devils.
Bob,
4-2 Devils, 2 Timo Meyer goals.
Yeah,
5-1, 5-1 Devils. And they get the shutout broken late in the third. That's what I'm going. It'll be a rout. So
Poor Jake Allen.
hopefully that's it. So wherever you guys are watching us or listening to us, a like, a subscription, a download, a 5-star review, a positive comment, reach out to us wherever you wish. You can find us on Blue Sky, on X, at unclepuckers@gmail.com. Check out all of Tim's recaps at theunclepuckers.com. They're fantastic. They're funny, and they're pretty goddamn educational. So I think it is a must read for anybody who considers himself a New Jersey Devil fan. For Bobby, Tony, and
keep
Tim.
going.
Oh, shucks. Chris,
Stop it.
we're the Uncle Puckers, and we'll see you when we see you.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
You like that Avalanche game, Valley Cap?
It's over, Johnny. It's over!